Hello, judges. This is our presentation on food security. So, before I delve further into the presentation, just wanted to show you a few quick facts. So, there are two charts on this slide. The first one shows us the world population versus the number of people who are starving in the world. So, currently, our world population is around 7 billion. At the same time, there are around 950 million people who starve annually. The other graph that is there on the slide is the distribution of the total food produced in tons. So, as it can be seen from here, around one third of the total food that is produced worldwide gets wasted. From this total food that is produced, it has been ascertained that the food that is wasted, it can be used to feed around 3 billion people. The very fact that it can be used to feed 3 billion people is shows us that it can be used to feed thrice the amount of people who are starving annually, which is shows that there is a gaping hole in our food supply chain. In order to combat this problem, we selected the goal of ensuring sustainable consumption and production patterns. We set our problem statement so as to leverage the use of blockchain technology and data analysis to fill the gaps in the food supply chain to ensure that there is zero wastage, especially in the end to end delivery of food products when they are transmitted and transferred from the producer, who's the farmer, to the consumers and the customers, so as to minimize and ultimately eliminate and ensure food wastage. So, how is food delivered from the farm to the consumer? Food, as we know. For example, let's take the example of a simple rice grain or something like that. It is cultivated by a farmer, then goes to the wholesaler. If Walmart is the one who is the wholesaler, it goes to the central Walmart warehouse where it is packaged depending on what kind of food it is, whether it is vegetable, cereals, pulses, or spices. Once it is packaged, it goes to the company, and from there it is distributed to the different stores of Walmart. Once it is at the different stores of Walmart, the consumer can go and purchase it. So using this theory, what we did is this is our data set. This is our data set right now, the world data set. From this, we extracted all the data which is from USA. We did a further analysis of this data by categorizing it. So as you can see over here, there is something known as activity. This activity, we categorized it into different positions of the food chain. So these are all the unique categories, and this is what the categorization in the food chain was. As we can see, there are three categories over here, which are transmission. So what we did is we gave it a final position, which which combined all the different transmission losses into a single transmission loss. Using this, we then did a final food chain relevance of the food loss, figure out how much food was getting lost at each step in the food chain. What we found out was this: most of the food that is being wasted at the consumer end, whereas a lot of the food is also being wasted at wholesale store company and in the transmission stages. So now that we know what the problem is, how can we come up with an innovative solution in order to solve this problem? The second part of the presentation will be taken over by my friend Malvika.
Yes. So, hi. Explaining the blockchain to the rescue solution that we have devised for this problem. This problem can be solved using two components, blockchain and data analysis. Now, why we use data analysis is for the fact because this graph shows that there is a lot of wastage from the consumer end. If there is a lot of wastage from this end, then we need to figure out the areas where this wastage is prominent. This is done because once we have identified these areas, we can channelize the excess surplus from the producer's side to the areas which do not have such wastage and hence are deficit in these products. This will help to, and in this process, blockchain will help to efficiently manage the entire cycle from producer to the consumer. So it has a dual advantage of targeting the customers plus additionally supplying them efficiently using the blockchain technology. Now, why do we focus on data analysis? Like I mentioned, is because if there is a deficit and a surplus in the regions, we can identify them, and then again, blockchain can be used to efficiently transfer them. While the producer is likely to lose their customer base if it is channelizing from a high end region to a deficit region, it is in the long term, if we see, it is definitely going to gain customers because it has targeted regions where there is a deficit. Benefits of using blockchain are multiple. Firstly, it ensures that there is greater visibility and transparency in the process, especially if we target the world as a whole, which we'll shortly be showing you. The producer need not necessarily know the intermediaries in the process. So it helps to build transparency, optimize business transactions, and which is secure and reliable. Private blockchain is the way to go about it. And also, so for the consumers too, this is a very beneficial solution because they would be able to trace from where their food was produced, from what quality of farms, and what type of for example, fertilizers or pesticides were used in that farm. So that traceability is important for the customer as well. So as you can see, the stakeholders in our problem, the producers as well as the consumers are benefited, as well as the wholesalers and the suppliers in between are also benefited because of the secure and reliable transactions which happen in the process. Identification of issues is faster. This will help us in our data analysis, and therefore, overall, blockchain is a very good solution, and combining it with data analysis, it presents a very comprehensive approach to our problem. Moving on, we see in the like in this map, what we have done is we have analyzed the areas which have less wastage corresponding to the lighter color in this legend, and which have more wastage, which corresponds to the darker shade in the color spectrum. So the central part of the world has more of wastage as compared to the other parts. So suppliers can probably target this region to send their goods, or to send to actually extract the surplus from here and send it to the other regions. So, and this data set is taken from OECD, which is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development online library for environment statistics, food shortage and wastage 2017. It is the data for 32 countries from 1993 to 2013, which is an exhaustive data set for our analysis. So this was the graph that was explained by my friend and which I have also used in the explanation. So we'll be moving on to the next slide. Yes, further steps. So further, this is a prototype of what we envision for our application. That is to find out the areas which have surplus and deficit using data analysis, and then make it available to the producers so that they can channelize their surplus to the areas which are deficit. And also, we'll need to speak with the companies. For example, Microsoft and IBM are champions in blockchain technology for the supply chain. And definitely, a combination of data analysis and blockchain is bound to bring some, if not great, at least some improvement in the entire process by reducing the losses in the stages, as well as by maintaining a balance of demand and supply. These were the references that we used for the making of our presentation as well as for the project. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you.